Welcome to our second video in this series of videos on Hashgacha. This video, we're going to do a little background and ask ourselves, what is science according to the Torah? It's not that science is different according to the Torah and according to everybody else, but we want to make sure that it's very clear that we're explaining science in accordance with the understanding of the Torah. This will be a very rational, very logical explanation of science and not one that anybody really would disagree with. Let's see what we're talking about. A lot of people mistakenly think that science is a list of rules that God must adhere to when running the world. So when we hear that God did something, we say, well, that can't be. That goes against science, as if science was a set of rules by which everyone and God must adhere to. But that doesn't really make any sense, because if God created the world, then God made the rules of science. So it would be impossible for God to create rules that he himself would have to adhere to, as if it would be impossible for him to operate outside of those rules. So if science is not a list of rules that God has to adhere to when running the world, what is science according to the Torah? Well, science, and this is according to the Torah, and scientists and anybody else that's thinking about this in a logical and rational way, science are a list of general principles, that humans wrote after observing the physical world around them. In other words, we went around over the course of since our creation and observed the rain, earthquakes, thunder, lightning, all different types of phenomena that occur in the world, the inner workings of our own body. And we saw, and the universe, the stars and the heavens. And what we did was we came up with a list of principles by which we see things happening over and over again. And we said, this is how the world operates. And we called that science, right? The principles that we're talking about discuss the mechanics of the universe and human interaction with the universe. We call that study, we call that science. It's not a set of rules, but rather it's a set of principles that we've come up with to explain the physical world around us. Okay, that's the idea of science according to the Torah and according to scientists, and really according to anyone who's thinking this through in a rational and logical way.